So we're going to take a look at John Quincy Adams. Perhaps what he's best known for is one of the things that happened at the very end of his life, and that was known as the Amistad case. What happened in the Amistad case was a Spanish slave ship which was carrying a group of captured Africans over to the West Indies, the area of the Caribbean that is. These slaves managed to escape their chains, at least a few of them did, and then they took over the ship. After this, because the slaves did not know the arts of navigation, they used the Spanish to help navigate them back to Africa, or at least that was what they demanded. However, the Spanish, being fairly tricky and not wanting to go back to Africa, began to steer the ship northward, hoping to hit the southern United States where slavery was legal. Instead, they kind of compromised and they hit a little bit further north than they had planned, and they landed up off the coast of New York. It was there that they were stopped by the United States Navy. And because, since the year 1808, the United States had outlawed the slave trade beyond the U.S. or into the U.S., these slaves could not legally enter the states. However, a court battle as to who the slaves should be began to ensue. In fact, the Spanish wanted the slaves so they could sell them in the West Indies, but the naval officer who also stopped the ship in the first place also wanted the slaves so that he could sell them and make a profit off of them. Adams, however, came to the defense of the slaves themselves. Eventually, the case made it all the way to the Supreme Court with John Quincy Adams, an old man, as their defense attorney. It was there on the very first day of arguments that he found himself speechless, that he found himself muttering about why they should be freed. He went home that night, he studied and prepared his words more diligently than he probably had for anything else. The next day he returned, and over the following days he gave several passionate speeches in which he gave very logical, very constitutional arguments for why the slaves were not the property of the Spanish, nor the naval officer, nor the executive branch of the United States government. As a result, the Amistad and its slaves were escorted by the U.S. Navy back to Africa, where they were indeed free.